The Breeze Knoll Mystery. November 1971, Westfield, New Jersey. In a quiet, wealthy neighborhood stood a large, old mansion known as Breeze Knoll. For weeks, no one had seen anyone enter or leave the house. The lights were always on, but newspapers piled up on the porch. Mail had stacked in the box. Milk deliveries were untouched. Neighbors assumed the family had gone on vacation. Until one day, an awful smell came from inside the house. When police entered Breeze Knoll, they found 5 bodies: the grandmother, the wife, and 3 teenage children. But the strangest thing? The father of the family was missing. He had simply vanished. Inside the house, something was even more disturbing. All bodies had been placed neatly side by side on white sheets. The house was cleaned after the murders. Food had been removed from the fridge. The temperature and lights were programmed to run for weeks. This was not the work of a chaotic killer. It was the work of someone methodical, organized, and in control. But the question was, who did this? Police questioned neighbors. Everyone said the same thing. The father, John List, was quiet, religious, polite. He kept to himself. No one had seen him since the day of the murders. No noises from the house. No visitors. No signs of a struggle. The only major clue: his car was found at an airport. But there were no airline tickets, no travel records, no confirmed flight under his name. Then investigators dug into the family's finances. They discovered the family's bank accounts were emptied before the murders. All debts were paid off. Insurance policies were canceled. Someone had planned this for weeks. Police now suspected this wasn't a random killer. It was someone with full access to the house. But even with suspicion, there was no direct evidence proving the father was the murderer. Years passed. The trail went cold. The case became unsolved. The killer had left no fingerprints, no witnesses, no mistakes. 18 years later, the case returns from the dead. In 1989, the TV show America's Most Wanted featured the case. For the first time, a forensic artist created an age-progressed sculpture of what John List might look like 18 years older. The model appeared on TV nationwide. Only a few hours later, the phone rang. A caller said, "I know that man. He lives in Virginia. His name is Bob Clark. He looks exactly like the sculpture." Police rushed to the town that same night. They watched a quiet, polite office worker walk out of an accounting firm. He wore glasses, carried a briefcase, and introduced himself as Bob Clark. At first glance, he looked like any ordinary man. Still, detectives were not convinced. Police used classic forensic methods. 1. Fingerprints. The man's fingerprints were compared to old military records. 2. Financial records. Police traced withdrawals before the murders, money taken from his mother's account, movements of the family's funds. The evidence was overwhelming. Perfect match. He was definitely John List. Cornered by facts, John List finally confessed. But what really happened? On November 9th, 1971, in Breeze Knoll Mansion, John List shot and killed his wife, Helen List, his mother, Alma List, and his 3 children. He used 2 firearms, a 9mm handgun, a .22 caliber handgun. He had prepared and cleaned both weapons beforehand. His wife, early in the morning, while she was sitting in the kitchen, he shot her from behind, a single bullet to the back of her head. 2. His mother. He immediately went upstairs, found his mother on the 2nd floor, and shot her at close range in the face. A direct and instantly fatal shot. 3. The 2 younger children. When they came home from school, they entered the house one by one. John shot each of them with direct, close-range gunfire, killing them immediately. For the oldest son, he was the only one who put up a fight. He entered the house, realized something was wrong, and confronted John List. Because of the struggle, John List had to shoot him multiple times. In the case files, it's noted he received the highest number of gunshot wounds. After the murders, he cleaned the house, laid the bodies on white sheets, stopped all deliveries, and disappeared without a trace. He traveled west, eventually settled in Colorado, worked in hotels, then returned to accounting. He changed his name to Robert Peter Bob Clark. He even remarried in 1985. His new wife had no idea who he really was. For 18 years, he lived quietly and unnoticed. During trial, the reasons became clear. Financial collapse. He couldn't maintain the expensive mansion with his accountant's salary. He secretly took money from his mother's bank account shortly before the murders. He held extreme religious beliefs. In a letter to his pastor, he said the world was becoming sinful and believed killing his family would send their souls to heaven. He thought he was saving them, a delusion that the court later labeled dangerous and insane. John List was captured in 1989 and tried in 1990. He was sentenced to 5 consecutive life sentences, 1 for each family member. All appeals were denied. He never left prison again. On March 21, 2008, at age 82, John List died in prison from pneumonia.